In this lecture, we will see the learning problem of hidden Markov model. A hidden Markov model is a statistical model in which we have a Markov chain where the states are hidden. So this is the Markov chain in the hidden Markov model which is hidden from the user. So let's say there are four states or four nodes in this, and it is assumed to be a Markov process, means that it's a stateless process. So given the present, the future can be computed without considering any past. That is mean by the Markov process or stateless process. So we call this as X, and in the hidden Markov model there is another set of variables which are observable, which we call it Y. And this set of observable variables are depending upon this hidden variables. So the goal is to find out the values of X, or the hidden Markov the goal of hidden Markov model is to learn about X by observing the value of Y. So you can observe only Y values, the X values are hidden. So observing Y values, you find out or learn about X. That is the meaning, that is the goal of hidden Markov model. Hidden Markov model is very much useful in case of data where we have time dependent data or time series data. It can be used in many fields like bioinformatics, speech recognition, natural language processing, etc. By using an HMM, we can solve three problems: evaluation problem, decoding problem, and learning problem. In the evaluation and decoding problem, the model will be given, and you need to a model and an observation sequence will be given. Whereas in learning problem, you will be given with only the observation sequence. So this is the evaluation problem. Given the model and an observation sequence, compute what is the probability that this particular sequence is produced by this model. It may be the sum of all the probabilities of all the paths that can generate this observation sequence. A decoding problem means you will be given with a model and an output sequence. So you need to find out the set of states or the state sequence which is more likely to produce this observation sequence. So out of the different paths, you need to find out the path which actually produced, or which having the maximum chance for producing this particular observation sequence. So which gives you the maximum probability. This problem is solved by using Viterbi algorithm. And this is the third problem. You will be given with only some training set of observation sequences. From this you have to learn the model. So here only set of training set is given. You have to learn a lambda star which maximizes probability of the training set given lambda. The problem is solved by using Baum-Welch algorithm. So this is the problem, that is learning model from parameters. So you will be given with data, or learning hidden Markov model from data. You will be given with observation sequences, that is your data, that is observed data. You would like to learn the hidden Markov model, means that you would like to learn different parameters. The parameters are A, B, and pi. A is the transition probability, which is the transition from one state to another in the hidden states. B is the emission probability, which can be observed, emission probability, and pi is the initial state probability. So A, B, pi, these total together we usually represent it as a lambda, which are the parameters of a hidden Markov model. This algorithm uses a well-known EM algorithm, that is expectation maximization algorithm, which is a two-step process. In the first step, we will be having an expectation step, and the second step is a maximization step, which will be done iteratively in multiple times, which will be done multiple times, and you will find a solution to this. Though this algorithm, Baum-Welch algorithm, uses expectation maximization step. Expectation maximization is generally used for finding the maximum likelihood parameters where you have latent variables or hidden variables. So if you don't have a latent or hidden variable in your model, then you can use maximum likelihood estimation to find the parameters. But there may be models in which you will be having along with observed variables, like hidden Markov model, you will be having hidden variables or latent variables. In such situation, you will have to use for identifying the MLE or MAP, then you will have to use expectation maximization algorithm. So here also we will be using expectation maximization algorithm. So given the observation sequence O, you will have to find out lambda star that maximizes the likelihood of the sample of training sequences. So lambda star is the parameter. So these parameters need to be identified that maximizes the likelihood of the sample of training sequences. So here we are going towards the likelihood of the total sample of training sequences. The likelihood can be directly calculated if these are not hidden, but here the states are hidden, so we can calculate only with expectation maximization. So if the training data has information about the sequence of hidden states, then the maximum likelihood can be calculated as A is equal to some value A, B and pi. We would like to estimate the parameters A, B and pi, right? So if the training data has this information, the sequence of states, then we can directly calculate it as A is the matrix of values Aij, which is defined as the transition from state I to state j. So here the transition happens from state I to state j. What is the probability of the transition from Sj given Si? Or this is written as the transitions from state I to state j given divided by the number of transition out of state I, if this training data has sequence of hidden states. But we don't have the hidden state in the states here information. So what we'll do is we'll calculate it as the expected number of transition from state I to state j divided by the expected number of transition out of state I. So the parameter A is calculated as Aij. Aij is the transition, represents the transition from state I to state j. So which is nothing but the expected number of transitions from state I to state j divided by the expected number of transitions out of state I. Now the parameter B, which is the emission probability, which represents the emission probability, it is another matrix which is represented as BIVM, which is defined as at the state I, what is the probability that you observe VM, which is calculated as number of times observation VM occurs at state I divided by number of times you are in state I. So here also we will use the expectation. So the expected number of BIVM is represented as the expected number of times the observation VM occurs at state I divided by the expected number of times you are in state Si. So this is two parameters A and B. So the first parameter is Aij, which is represents the transition from state I to state j, and the second parameter is BIVM, which represents the emission probability of what is the probability that you observe the the sequence, that is observation sequence VM at state I. So by using expectation, we represent it as expected number of transition from state I to state j by divided by expected number of transitions out of state I. Here also we will write the equation with the help of expectation, that is expected number of times the observation VM occurs at state I divided by the expected number of times in state I. And the third parameter is pi I. Pi I is represented as probability of state I, that is the initial probability. So these are the three parameters which we would like to learn from this model. One is Aij, BIVM and pi I, where Aij represents the transition probability, BIVM represents the emission probability, and pi I represents the initial probability, initial state probability. So what is the probability that you start from Si, that is it represents the pi I. To obtain these values, we need to consider two variables. One is psi kij and another one is gamma kj. So psi kij and gamma kj. Psi kij represents a transition from state I to state j. So assume the transition from state I to state j. Psi kij is defined as the probability of being in state Si at time k and in state Sj at time k plus 1 given the observation sequence O1, O2, etc. Okay. So means that you are at state I at time k and you do a transition to state Sj, Si to Sj transition in the next time, that is k plus 1, and at k plus 1 you are seeing this observation sequence. So this can be written as a probability of qk is equal to Si at time k you are at state Si, qk plus 1, the k plus 1 the time the state is Sj given the observation sequence O1, O2, etc. Okay. So this is the observation sequence you are given. With this observation sequence at time k you are at Si and at time k plus 1 you are at Sj. Okay. Now you convert this into in another form, that is represented as a joint probability. It is same, that is P of probability of qk equal to Si comma qk plus 1 equal to Sj, that is you are at time k you are at state I and time k plus 1 you are at state j, comma the probability of this observation sequence, that is the joint probability of these two, divided by the probability of O1, O2, etc. Okay, so this is this is written in this form: probability of qk equal to Si, comma qk plus 1 equal to Sj, comma the observation sequence O1, O2, etc. Okay, divided by the probability of this observation sequence. Now let's use our forward algorithm here. Now let's say at time k you are at Si and you do a transition Aij. So Aij means at time k plus 1 you have reached the jth symbol. So you write it as P of qk equal to Si. We would like to divide it, that is divide this entire observation sequence into two parts. The first part we will represent by using the forward variable, the forward algorithm, and the second part will represent using the backward variable or backward algorithm, and in between you have a simple transition. So this is done in a recursive manner so that we can find out the total probability using our forward and backward variables. So let's see this. At time k you are at state Si and you have found you have seen the observation sequence up to some middle, that is O1, O2, etc. Okay, that is, let's say this is some middle value, and you have found OK plus 1 symbol at the next position, a transition at Si qk equal to Si and this observation sequence, then I to j transition, that is Aij, into this emission probability. So at time k you are at state I and you have found at up to this observation sequence, then a transition Aij, that is I to j transition, then at j you have found OK plus 1. So what is left is OK plus 2, OK plus 3, etc. O capital K. Let's say O1, O2, etc. O capital K was your total observation sequence. So OK plus 1, K plus 2, etc. OK, O capital K is your next probability given QK plus 1 equal to Sj. So qk equal to Si and you have found half of the symbols, half of the observation symbols, then a transition, and after that transition you find out the probability of all these symbols given at this state qk plus 1 you are at state Sj. Now this can be represented as two parts. The first part can be represented as using forward variable as alpha ki. So what is the probability that you are at state I and you have found all the observation symbols at till small k, and the this part can be represented as beta k plus 1 I. Now you are at k plus 1 and you are at j. Then you have found all the symbols from k plus 2 to all the way till the end, that is beta k plus 1. So it is alpha ki into the transition into beta k plus 1 j. So this can be rewritten like this using the concept of forward and backward procedure. Now psi k ij is defined as this value divided by the entire sum of all these probabilities, that is sigma I sigma j alpha ki into aij into bj o k plus 1 into bk plus 1 I j. The sum of all the possible values of I and j, you divide this value. So for a simple transition ij, you find out this value and divide this by the sum of all these values, that is the value of psi ki, that is probability of being in state si at time k and in state sj at time k plus 1 given the large observation sequence O1, O2, etc. Okay. So that is this probability divided by the entire state probability. So that is psi k ij. Now define another variable gamma ki, which is defined as the probability of being in state si at time k given the observation sequence O1, O2, etc. Okay. That is the probability of qk equal to si given O1, O2, etc. Okay. So it can also be written in the same format which we have seen before, p of qk equal to si comma O1, O2, etc. okay divided by probability of O1, O2, etc. okay. So here gamma ki can be written as by using this concept of forward and backward algorithm. Here there is no transition, that is in the previous case we have been talking about as at time k we are in state I and a transition from I to j. Here the probability of being in state si, that's it. So it is you divide this entire sequence into two parts, O1, O2, etc. small k and k2 etc. capital K. So you divide this into two parts like alpha ki into beta ki. So this represents the transition from presently from k to capital K, this from 1 to small k. So divided by the sum of all these things together will be your gamma ki. So that's how we have defined two variables. The first variable is psi ki ij, which is this value, and the second variable is gamma ki, which is this value. So we have calculated psi ki ij, which is probability of at time k, the at time k you are at state si and time k plus 1 you are at state sj given this observation sequence, that is this represents a transition from state si to sj and these two conditions. Gamma ki is half of this, that is at time k you are at si and given this observation sequence. So the expected number of transition from si to sj is, so this is represents one transition. So the expected number of transitions is the sum of all k's. So sigma k for the different values of k psi k ij. So that is the expected number of transition from si to sj. The expected number of transitions out of si is sigma k gamma ki. So you are at state k. So in the next position you will be having a transition. So this is the expected number of transitions out of si. So by using these two values now we can find out the a matrix, that is the parameter a, and the expected number of times observation Vm occurs at state si is sigma k rki such that k is such that ok is equal to Vm. Here let's say this k is equal to you have found this observation symbol at this position. So in that case, this sigma k rk I is your expected number of times observation Vm occurs in state Si. So the parameters learned can be obtained like this: Aij is equal to sigma k psi kij divided by sigma k gamma ki. That is this parameter, this value divided by this value, we will get Aij. And BIVM is sigma k ij, that is the expected number of transition from Si to Sj divided by this value, that is expected number of times the observation Vm occurs, the expected number of Vm occurs at. So this is equal to sigma k ok equal to Vm star gamma ki, and pi I can be obtained as gamma 1 I. So it is the expected frequency in Si at time k equal to 1. You just need to calculate the gamma values for k is equal to 1, then you will get pi value. So these are the three parameters which we were requiring for our HMM. So this is how we calculate the parameters. So let's look at this Baum-Wedge algorithm, which is doing all these things, which is doing this with the help of expectation maximization. The input is the observations and the output we require is the model, means that the lambda need to be identified. Initialization step, the parameters are guessed, A, B and pi are guessed. Then forward algorithm is implemented on the HMM for evaluating the state given the state sequence. So forward algorithm implemented. So on implementing forward algorithm, you will get what is known as alpha and beta, and by using that values you can calculate psi and gamma. By using that you can calculate these methods Aij values Aij, Bi, Vm and pi I. If the probability values obtained in step 1 is not satisfactory, then change the parameters A, B and pi. So initially we have guessed these values, now the parameters are changed and repeat these steps again and again. That's how we do the Baum-Wedge algorithm. That is very similar procedure like as that of an EM. So if the obtained values at some position, if the obtained values of A, B and pi can accept all the samples, then you can use that model. So that's it. So that's how that's about the learning problem of hidden Markov model. Our ultimate aim was to learn about these three parameters Aij, BIVM and pi I. That is the parameter lambda, which is the transition probability, the emission probability and the initial probability of the states. Okay, thank you.